Hello students, this is the 13th session of Business Economics subject for the first semester BCom classes. The title of the session is Determinants of Demand. So under this title, you are going to study about the meaning and definition of the demand, and you will study the functions of demand. Then you can also study about the determinants of demand. Okay, this is the actual content you are going to study in the session. Let us recall what we have studied in earlier session. In the earlier sessions, we have studied law of demand followed by exceptions of law of demand. We know the meaning of demand. We have studied demand means desire for a commodity backed by ability and willingness to pay for it. Idu demand na meaning. What is the law of demand? Law of demand says that other thing remaining same or equal or ceteris paribus. When the price rises, demand decreases. When the price decreases, demand increases. So this is a law. We have studied the exceptions also. Exception in the sense where demand curve doesn't work. Okay, other than this, in this class, we will study to add this. We will study the determinants of demand. I strongly believe that you, dear students, know the meaning of demand. Yes, demand means it's a desire for a commodity. It must be backed by two important factors. One is ability to buy and one more is willingness to buy. ಈ ಅಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ನೆಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸಿ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ವೆರಿ ಲೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಒಬ್ಬನ ಹತ್ರ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಯ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು 2,000 3,000 ಇದೆ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಡಿ ಕಾರನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವ ಒಂದು ಕನಸಿರೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಒಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಆಡಿ ಕಾರನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು 50 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, 1 ಕೋಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ವಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? ಬಟ್ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಸೊ ಆಗ ಅದು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅನದರ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಒಬ್ಬ ಕೋಟ್ಯಾಂತರ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಓನರ್, ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು 2 ವೀಲರ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು MIT, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹಳೆಯದು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಆಡಿ ಕಾರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂತಹ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಆಸೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಕಮಾಡಿಟಿ, ಹಿ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಇಚ್ಛೆಯೂ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಆಸೆಯೂ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಮನಸ್ಸು ಇರಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. Clear? So this is the concept of demand. To study the determinants of demand, basically we should know the concept of demand function. Demand function ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆದರೆ we can easily study the determinants of demand. We know that demand function is an algebraic expression of change in demand and the determinant factor which cause its change. Demand function is an algebraic expression. It shows the relationship between change in demand and factor which affects on it. And at the same time, I want to say you that there is two types of demand. We have already studied there is individual demand, at the same time there is a market demand. Individual demand means it's a demand of single or individual or one consumer. Market demand means it's a demand of market as a whole or all consumers in the market. So let us see individual demand function. Individual demand function, it expresses the relationship between change in individual consumers' demand and the factor which affecting on it. Change in individual consumer demand and the factors which affects on it. So now you see, you can write demand function of an individual consumer as dx, it is equal to demand for commodity dx, demand for the commodity x of an individual is influenced by Px, price of given commodity, PR, price of related goods, Y, income, T, taste and preference, F, expectations of change in the price of the future. And here you see dx comes in the left side and these factors comes in the right side of the function. And in this case, this is independent variable. The factors which comes in the right side of the demand function, you can call it as independent variable. And dx which comes in the left side, this is actually dependent variable. So let's see market demand function. Market demand function refers to the functional relationship between market demand and the factors affecting market demand. So algebraically, mathematically, we can write market function as dx, demand for commodity x, is the function of px, price of given commodity, PR, price of related goods, income y, then T, taste and preferences, and F, future expectations of change in the price, then PO, population and the size and the composition of population, S, season and weather, D, distribution of income. These are the factors which influence on the market demand function. Let's discuss the determinants of demand. First one is prices of the given commodity. Yes, of course, dear student, we know that when the price of the commodity increases, demand for the commodity contracts, and at the same time the price falls, demand increases. Then the next determinant is price of related goods. Price of related goods. For example, you just go to a practical market. Related goods in the sense you can use as a substitutes. Okay, you can say jaggery and sugar. Okay, you can say jaggery and sakkare. ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಲ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಒನ್ ಫೈನ್ ಡೇ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ಒನ್ ಶಾಪ್, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಶಾಪಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಜಾಗ್ರಿ, ನೀವು ಜಾಗ್ರಿಯನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಬಟ್ ದ ಶಾಪ್ಕೀಪರ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಜಾಗ್ರಿ ಈಸ್ 150 rupees, but the sugar is these days is very less. He said it is 20 rupees. So by the time you will decide, oh, for 150 rupees I am able to buy 7.5 kgs of sugar. So this is actually another factor which determines demand, that is prices of related goods. This is also called as cross price demand. Okay, this is also called as cross price demand. Then another determinants of demand is income of the individual consumer. Income of the individual consumer, normally if income increases, then demand for the commodity increases. ಅದು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವುದು, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್. ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೈಸ್ ವರ್ಸ, ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಕೇಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ದೆರ್ ವಿಲ್ if decrease in income, this leads to decrease in demand. Then the next factor is taste and preference. Taste and preference case, I can give you one example of vegetarian and non-vegetarian. You take an example of vegetarian and non-vegetarian. Non-vegetarianಗೆ that non-veg like chicken, you take one example, chicken items and all is always a tempted one. You imagine, they like chicken items and they always see that if the price of the chicken is less, we should consume more. ಅದೊಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. But if the person who doesn't prefer the chicken only, if the price increases or decreases, for him it doesn't matter. So this is actually taste and preference. So taste and preference of the commodity may influence on demand. Then the next one is expectation of change in the price of future. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್, ಇದು ಎರಡು ಟೈಪಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮೇ ವೇರಿ ಇನ್ ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ there is an expectation that there may be a rise in the price. There may be rise in the price. When there is an expectation of rise in the price of future, definitely at the present time the demand for the commodity increases. ಯಾಕೆ? ಮುಂದೆ ಅದರ ಬೆಲೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದಂತೆ, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಈಗಲೇ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಡುವಂಥ. ಇಫ್ there is an expectation that the prices of the commodity will be fall in the future, ಇದ್ದಾಗ the current market will contract. ಓಕೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಇರುವಾಗ ಜನ ಈಗ ತುಂಬ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಆ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಯ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. Then size and composition of the population. This is knowing, and this is the accepting truth that higher the size of the population, higher will be the demand. Lesser the size of population, lesser will be the demand. Then season and weather. Many times or sometimes our demand depends upon season and weather. For instance, during a rainy season, okay, for example, during a rainy season, People may like to buy a ice cream, but they don't consume like in the summer season. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಫರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು, ಆದರೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ದೇ ಮೇ ಭಯ, ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಮೇ ಅಪ್ಸೆಟ್, ವಿ ಮೇ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ some feverish or some cold related problems. So this is season and weather. Then the last one is distribution of income. Distribution of income, there is two types of possibility. One is equal distribution and one more is unequal distribution. When there is equal distribution of income, so the demand for the commodity is less. When there is equal distribution, demand will be less. When there is unequal distribution, you can say that the demand is high, especially in case of luxury goods. Okay, these are the determinants of demand. This is the reference of concerned topic. You can refer this book or any book for your further reading. Thank you very much for your patience listening.